and speak to Adam Hancock. Morning, Adam. What are the details that we have of China's proposal for peace in Ukraine?
Well, they've released a 12-point peace plan via the Foreign Ministry this morning. There was some talk that there was going to be a speech from President Xi, so-called speech for peace, but no sign at the moment that that is going to happen. But so far, we just have this document. And the main headline is that they are calling for a ceasefire of hostilities between Russia and Ukraine. They want both sides to engage in dialogue as they try to look for peace. They're also calling for an end to those Western sanctions. They want humanitarian corridors to be reopened to allow people to leave conflict zones. They've called for an end to what they call the Cold War mentality that is happening at the moment due to this conflict, and also ensuring that there is grain can be exported from Ukraine, given the global food situation. And now a lot of what Beijing have said is long-held positions that they have taken since the start of this conflict, really. There's not too much new information that they've given out this morning. And many people who are quite critical of China's role so far and what they have done in response to this conflict, they're pointing to their actions rather than their words, because yet again, Beijing have abstained from voting on that UN resolution to bring an end to the conflict in Ukraine. Also, they point to the fact that China have a very close relationship with Russia. Just a few days ago, Wang Yi, the foreign minister for China, was in Moscow, whereas there has been very little dialogue between China and Ukraine. So those critical of China say they should be doing more to get peace rather than just releasing these documents where they are effectively repeating some of their long-held opinions on the conflict.
And of course, they've released this document on the one-year anniversary of the start of the war. It almost appears as though Beijing is positioning itself as a potential peacemaker. But how successful are they likely to be? And have we had any reaction to this peace plan from Beijing?
Well, yeah, I think Beijing is certainly sensing that this could be an opportunity for them to act as the peacemaker, given the fact that they, officially are neutral on this conflict compared to many other nations who are backing Ukraine. A lot of people are looking at China. They've got this very close relationship with Russia, and there is a school of thought that they might be able to have some influence to bring this conflict to an end. But Beijing really are treading a bit of a fine line at the moment. On the one hand, they have their relationship with Russia. They have close military and economic ties. They boosted a lot of trade, brought a lot of Russian oil in this year. And they're quite a close ally, and they will not want to see them defeated in this war. But on the other hand, they've got to consider their relationship with Europe and the US. Beijing really pushing to try and improve relations with Europe. They need them for trade after COVID and how damaging COVID zero has been. So they've got to balance that, and that's why they don't want to go too far in favor of Russia, which I think is why China was so critical of the US for accusing them of considering giving weapons to Russia in the conflict. So it's a difficult balancing act. Critics of Beijing, again, will point to that lack of dialogue with Ukraine and this continued relationship with Russia. Remember, just before the conflict started, they announced that they had a no-limits friendship moving forward. And there is now talk that there's going to be a summit between President Xi and President Putin. So those who want China to do more to bring an end to this are now calling on them to open dialogue with President Zelensky as well.
Okay, Adam Hancock, appreciate that update live there from Singapore.